What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Turbo John. You're on the Turbo John YouTube channel, and we're working on Randy's hot rod today. Getting it closer. Hopefully, we're going to get this thing cranked up soon. May try to start it today, potentially. I don't know for sure yet. We got a few things we got to get done. It'll be mostly ready today. Fuel lines and the oil lines, we're going to get those redone at Austin's down at Dragwire Solutions. We talked about that in the past. He also does Brown and Miller lines. So we're going to get that done at some point. We may go ahead. We got to get it with him and see what his schedule is, see if he can work us in. But we may go ahead and fire it up today or next couple of days with the old lines on it and then get it to him later on when his schedule fits. Because we're going to be getting this thing on the dyno soon, hopefully in the next couple weeks to a month at the max. So yeah, let's show you. All right, guys, appreciate it. Check it out. Comment, like, and subscribe. Randy, what are you doing?
There's a little bit of cleaning that I should have done a long time
boy,
ago.
simple green life.
Yeah.
Cleaning the headers, getting all that stuff, body dust off of it. It ain't got no oil on it. It didn't really have any oil leaks. So we just got the O-rings up in the heads. These are race flow development heads. RFD Dan up there got us hooked up, and my car does not have these O-rings, but it's going to at some point. The O-ring life is so much easier. You don't have to use red RTV. You don't have to use anything. Some people still do, but in theory, the way this works, it protrudes out past the surface here. And when you bolt the header on, it squeezes it down, and then you're set. You don't have anything to do. So just got that done. We got the torque converter stuff spacing. I actually did a video on that. I'm going to post that video a little bit later this week on getting this spacing correct. So we got all that done. Transmission's in it. Uncle Mike came over and helped Randy. They got that in. Drive shaft is in. He's got a carbon fiber drive shaft. This is actually a local guy, Metalcraft. They're out of Goldsboro. So if you need any drive shafts, they've got carbon fiber, aluminum, steel. They got all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. Uncle Mike done all the work under the bottom of the car for the most part. Jason Brazel did some a long time ago, but Uncle Mike did all the back half stuff. Got everything back here. We got these Precision Racing suspension long travel shocks. It's like a 9-inch stroke here on the back. So that's pretty good. So we're real eager to go get out and get testing. 14-inch springs, and then of course I got this little helper spring up here. These are the air over normal, and that's what this is. It's air on. So the way we set these up, car takes off, the rebound is set loose, but then we turn on the air to kind of tighten it up. So you get that first initial real quick separation, but then it's slow. That's where we're finding this air is pretty good. Uncle Mike did a killer job on this. Is that a Cameron Johnson anti-roll bar?
Yes, sir. Big Johnson.
The Big Johnson. Look at that thing. CJ Race Cars. That thing is massive.
I'm gonna be getting their titanium 4-link bars.
Oh, you're getting some titanium 4-link bars?
Titanium 4-link bars.
Oh boy. So CJ Race Cars is going to get them some titanium. I like that. The spline. The spline is actually pretty cool. I don't know who did the wishbone. What wishbone is that? Oh, that's a Racecraft wishbone. It's got the 10 Soldiers low prep brackets up there. That's the same thing I've got on my car. Those things work awesome. Jason Terrell and those guys at 10 Soldiers. Race Cars. I screwed it up every time. It's not 10 Soldiers. It's 10 Soldier Race Cars. So we may get this thing cranked up. Maybe today. I don't know. I can't. No guarantees that it's going to actually crank up today, but we're going to work on it. We're going to keep pushing forward, trying to get it ready. Now we were just on the phone with Scarlet Solutions Forest, and I'm trying to talk Randy into going to Georgia for lights out with Randy's car in all steel, all glass. There's not a lot of all steel, all glass racing this year. All steel, all glass is, in my opinion, going to die soon. So maybe we should take it to Georgia. Track will be good. You know how it is down there in Georgia. It's a hot mess though, as far as people. It's a crowded event, but that would be potentially a good race to go to. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Get in the comments. Let us know if Randy should go to Georgia to Lights Out or No Mercy, whichever one it is coming up in February. All right, boys. Well, we have made some progress, and well, it don't look like it, but we got one header on. And over here, the oil pump, the header, all this stuff is all right here together. And this fitting right here screws into the block. We're having a little bit of issue. We think the fitting might be messed up because I can't get it. The problem is normally this thing points this way. And so we have to point it back here because the oil pump sits like right here. And then of course the header is right above it. So it's very difficult, very tight. This has to be off of the block here far enough for the fitting to tighten and spin. So yeah, so we're having a little bit of an issue. Randy had a good point. Maybe Austin, potentially, he might be able to make this thing actually on the end of a hose, get this right fitting that his 90 comes up, and maybe that'll be the easiest thing to do, possibly. Why did it take us 2 hours to put on a header?
Because it's mine.
2 hours, guys. Okay, so, oh my goodness. So the way we do this one, we can't run studs on all of them. So we got a stud in the back here, a stud in the front. And for some reason, we could not get this one to go in. So we wallowed the holes out a little bit. And what our problem ended up being, apparently, because we have the studs in those, I mean, you would think that stainless steel, we wouldn't be able to really move it or squash it. But apparently we have squashed it just a tad. And so even though it fit on both of those, there wasn't enough movement to get it to be able to go in. And yeah, two hours. So, and I don't know if y'all have ever tried to drill stainless steel. It's very hard, but we did get it. So finally. So now we also talked to Austin. And so he is going to start plumbing this stuff soon. And you notice we don't have much room here. And he said he was, with the Brown and Miller, he was able to make it work.
Yep.
He said he can make us a hose end with a 90 with the proper thread. I think the Ford block is a 3/4 thread, I think, because something else that has somehow, I don't know what's happened, is this fitting has gotten messed up. And so now that fitting is not working properly. And that's an adjustable fitting, but it has to be far enough off. I think we talked about that earlier. So you can get the actual wrench and the piece on it to make it work. So we're going to stick the oil pump on it real fast. He's got that one. He just got it rebuilt from Peterson. Nice oil pump. All new stuff, essentially. But he's got it rebuilt, same fittings. So something else we're hoping Austin can do is, so this is the way this one works, is you got the in and the out. So this is the way this goes. This is the pressure. This is the actual oil pressure. So this one is fed from the dry sump tank. This is the one that actually goes up, goes through the filter. Once it comes out of the filter, then it goes into the engine block. So these are your scavenges. So we have these two on the bottom. The two on the bottom go to the oil pan, and then you see these are all together. So these, even though they got individuals, they're all together. And so oil comes in from the oil pan on those bottom two. The one on the front, it goes actually to the turbo, and then you got one out. That's actually what feeds the oil back into the dry sump tank. So now, you know, this is it's just complicated as far as getting everything to fit where it's supposed to fit. But that's what we got. So we're hoping what can happen on this intake side over here. I'm hoping that Austin can also do that same thing, do the same thing with these. These are actually orb fittings, though, I think, in the pumps. But if he can get the hoses with the proper fitting, the orb fitting, then that'll save us some room, because I'll show you in a minute how this goes up on there. It's really, really tight. All right, guys, so here is what we're looking at with the oil pump. And you see this thing is like super tight. No, I mean, it's got to be driven off the belt somewhere. On his Pro Charger setup, I think it was coming forward, so that worked a little better. And actually the first turbo setup, that's the way we did, but we had some issues throwing the belt. So we put it on there the right way, but you know, it's a clearance issue. But if Austin can get us more clearance down through here with those fittings, then that's going to help a ton. And of course, that right there, oh, that's hitting right there, so that's not going to work. We're going to take that off and move that out, which normally that pushes straight back. we're going to have to get that off right now though. Went ahead and set the crank trigger up. Showed the way this sets up. It's pretty easy. It's the flying magnet, 12 minus 1, so it's got 11 magnets. These magnets are 30 degrees apart, and basically you just line your missing magnet with top dead center in this scenario, because our crank trigger is here. Essentially what has to happen, somewhere ideally about 60 degrees, somewhere between 40 and 60 degrees before top dead center, this has to go across the sensor. And so that's what happens. So you see this one is technically, it's not quite on 60 because the other magnet is right there. So we'll have a little bit of offset on it, you know, when we set it up in the computer system. But that's not a big deal because that's as far down as that goes. But essentially what happens is if I roll that back, this missing magnet, if I roll this all the way back, it's probably going to be about 50 degrees-ish before top dead center. And what will happen is this triggers. Now, on the Holly, you have two edges. You have, and this is a Hall effect sensor. This is not a regular magnetic pickup. It is actually a Hall effect, so it gives you a square wave instead of I guess a round wave or whatever the normal one does. But you have two sides to this sensor. So remember, this is moving clockwise rotation here. So when that missing magnet, when it first triggers on this side, that's called the rising edge. And then when it sees it, it goes up. And then when it goes off the back of the sensor here, that's called the digital falling. And we like to set them up in digital falling because digital falling, they say, is a little bit better. It's because it's already on the magnet. It already knows. I don't know if it thinks ahead or what, but they always say digital falling is better, but you can do it digital rising or digital falling. So that's how you set that up. Easy peasy. The other thing real quick I wanted to point out, we can put this anywhere. So if you want to do that, all you would do is roll this back to 50 degrees or 60 degrees, where 60 degrees before top dead center. So on your timing pointer, 60 degrees on the harmonic balancer. And then you can put this sensor on the bottom, on the top, on this side over here. It doesn't matter. And then you just do it the same way. So with the harmonic balancer on 60, you put the missing magnet lined up with the sensor. But it can be anywhere on there as long as that key thing happens. It triggers the missing magnet 60 degrees, 50 to 60 degrees before top dead center. All right, boys, the pump is on. So we got all this thing lined up real good. Got good belt tension. The way we normally do it, this one's got guides on both sides, but you want to have a little bit of tension, about a quarter to a half. The little belts I like to get about a half, but a quarter, this is good. It might be a little tight, but we got some adjustment. We can make it work. See, what Austin is going to be working with is very tight in there, but hopefully he can, his hose ends will make it a little easier. The other thing we did, Randy's got to get a little bit shorter bolt, but we went ahead and modified this. That's been killing Randy. It's been about to drive him crazy forever, but we just ain't never took the time to shorten the mandrel because we don't have anything else. We drive off of it. We used to have a fuel pump at one point, but we don't have that, so we just shortened that up. Basically, just cut the end of it off, put that on there. He's got to get just a little bit shorter bolt, and then we'll be set. So that is good. So now we're going to go ahead. He's going to get the crossover now. So we're going to go ahead and put the crossover on it, put the turbo on it. Then I don't know if we'll probably go ahead and do the wiring or not. Devin wired this one up, and it literally is stupid easy. You got the one bulkhead back here in the back, and everything just goes where it's supposed to go. It's super easy. Probably go ahead and get the dry sump tank on it. I've already set this. Of course, it does not have any oil in it. Cam sync, crank sync. So that's all we got left to do. Once we get the power, then this is real easy to set. Basically, this is already loose. It's not even tight. So all this is, it's not driving the oil pump, of course, because the oil pump's down here. Essentially, what you do is a small block Ford. This is really easy. We want to set this up on digital falling as well. So what we're going to have to do, this should be top dead center because on a this should be on the compression stroke, but we just got to make sure. So we'll take the number one spark plug out. Number one is over here. You can see this head is a little bit further forward. So that's how you know number one. The other thing that they done on this one, Dan and those guys, you see they opened that up. It's got a big head on it, the 13/16. It's running the Hemi style plug. The electrode is like this instead of like this. I don't really know what the big difference is, but apparently there is a difference. So we got those plugs in it, and we are basically, what we'll do is we gotta make sure we're on a compression stroke. So we'll pop those plugs out. I'll stick my finger in here in the hole, and then we'll let Randy turn this motor over. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. As long as it's compressing, pushing my finger out, then what we gotta do is we gotta keep backing the motor up. So we'll back it up to where we are 195 degrees before top dead center. So, and this hard motor balancer is marked all the way around. So we'll go 195 on here. And then what I'll do, this spins, you can go on MSD's instructions, but this is the easiest way to do it. So you got a light on and off. When the light goes off, that means it's on the magnet. So this spins, it's opposite of what it is on a small block Chevrolet. Small block Chevrolet in the back spins clockwise. So this one spins counterclockwise. So all I do is I will take this, it's already loose, like I said, I'm going to spin it like this clockwise, since you go opposite of whatever way it normally goes. And then the light's going to be on, light's going to go off, and then I'm going to keep going till the light comes on. And then I'm going to back it up just a little bit till the light goes off. And now that is on the fallen edge of the cam sync. So this is going to hit 195 degrees. This is what triggers the ECU. It sees, boom, that missing magnet, 195 degrees. It knows to look out for the missing magnet here. And then when that hits, then it knows, because you set it your crank reference angle, it knows it's 55 degrees before top dead center when it hits this magnet. Now, I think Holotech and a lot of them, Fuel Tech, a bunch of other ones, and you can do it in Holly too. A lot of people, they'll get this to crank, and then they turn the cam sync off once it's running, because it's always going to know where it's at, right? It knows it's got 11 magnets. It knows it's got one missing, so it knows what the firing order is once it gets going. But I don't ever do that. I always just leave the cam sync on the whole time, and then I just, it is what it is, and that's what I do. So maybe at some point we'll get into the more intricates of turning the cam sync off, but right now that's just not what we're doing. So that is the way you set this up. All right, so here is the hot side. This thing is should bolt right on, so we're going to go ahead. You're going to go ahead and use silicone, or no? I mean, or we shouldn't have to take that back. Or is it going to have... Do we have to take the cold side off, the hot side off, to get that pump off? I don't know either. Okay, let's don't put any. We're not gonna put any silicone on this. We're going to just loosely bolt the rest of it together, because Austin may have to take some of this back apart. But we know all this right now is nut and bolted tight. That's the only bad thing about like doing stuff in pieces. A lot of people do it. They'll put nuts and bolts partially tight on a lot of stuff, with the intent of going back later, and then you know what happens, right? You miss something, and sometimes it's minor and sometimes it's major.
Starter fell off.
Right. So, I mean, all of a sudden we got a bad header leak, and, the oil pump falls off. So, okay, but that's what we're going to do. So we know from this point back is all secured. We know that he's going to have to take that oil pump off anyway to do what he needs to do, most likely. But that's fine. So from this point forward, we're going to have to remember, take a mental note, that we are not tightening everything. All right, boys, here is the forced induction 122 millimeter turbo. Bad unit right there. So we have the crossover tube on it now. Went ahead and cleaned this up. That was a little unprotected. We try to protect it, but it just is what it is. This thing works good. You just have to make sure this is a priming system. The key thing is, you have to 100% not use the impact driver. It has to be a drill, because the movement of the impact will break it. Ask me how we know. So this thing, the way this thing's set up, it's not... You've always got to have a support on a turbo. I do not like this setup right here. I would rather have it mounted, a support off of here onto like this flange, something here, because now what we have to do is A lot of people use this. I just not a fan. Don't like it. Because now this has got a mount here. You see those holes are a little bigger, but that's fine. But then that seals, and then it has a mount to this. Of course, this is all rigid, so we don't have much flexibility. You don't want much flex, but you want the ability for it to flex some. But so getting this to line up all the time sometimes is a problem. And so apparently last time we were putting it together, this one over here got cross-threaded. So now we got to tap that out to get it back straight so we can get this in the right location. All right, boys, we are getting closer here. So made a lot of progress, got a lot done. Been a pretty long day. It always, never goes as easy as you hope, right? So we got it all done. Like I said, from the pipes here forward, all this stuff is on there, but it's probably gonna have to be pulled back off for him to do the lines. Maybe not. You might be able to get that pump out of there, but we didn't tighten any of it up as far as the crossover stuff with silicone and all that stuff. So oil tank is on it. So it is ready to go for the most part. The only thing Randy's got left to do is do the wiring. So which that stuff's pretty easy. So the wiring, we got to find the bolts for this. This is what bolts to right here for the throttle cable. So that goes there. And then next time we see it, hopefully we'll be at Austin's, and Austin will be doing all the plumbing stuff. Yay, fun. Real tight down here. I don't know if y'all remember, this is one of the things that we want to try to fix. The other thing we want to try to fix is the oil going from this tank goes out this fitting right here, the big fitting here. That one, it was going backwards to the pump. So maybe when Austin does it, maybe what he can do if he does it, if he gets enough room, maybe he can just come forward here and then back to it and then 90 degree over to it somehow. That would be much better than it looping back and then having to come back forward. I think that could have been possibly one of our issues. I don't know if y'all remember, this engine, when we would take off, it would lose about 10 pounds of oil pressure from the G-force that's taking off, is what we would think. I mean, it would take off, and then if you think about it, it's trying to gravity flow from here to the pump, and then it's coming back up. So it had about a foot of hose coming back toward the front of the car. Don't know if that was a problem or not. So Randy, you said Peterson also, they did an upgraded pump this time?
They did pressure and volume upgrade.
Okay.
Which basically they just gave me a discount on a new pump.
That's what we were looking at it. He's like, the only thing they reused were the fittings.
Yeah, I got a part number. Anybody needs it.
Right. And that one is, I mean, it's a nice pump. Peterson makes some good stuff. And that's the R1 style pump. I think R4 style pump. So it's really good. Oh yeah, it's down there. So, all right guys, well, we are done for the night. Next time, hopefully you see Randy's will be at Austin's shop, and he'll have all the plumbing stuff done. So, all right, comment, like, and subscribe. See y'all.